Good evening, fans and everyone. Live. Yeah. All right, we go in here. We turn that off. We go in here. We set it to DND. Okay, so that I don't get pop-outs. We've got the things. We've got the controller. We've got slides. We've got the horizontal and the vertical. I think we're good on everything. So, good evening, fellas and lady fellas. We go in here. Oops, that needs to not be a thing. We set, no, the other thing to the thing. Set that to potato quality, just so I can keep an eye on it. We set this one to potato quality, which you can't do because the window's too narrow. Potato. Hope everyone has had a successful week, seeing as it is the last one before the apocalypse. And we should be up on all the things. So we made some decent progress. Behind the scenes, and watch it, Onion. He's gonna make something great. Mostly his bank account. Make the greatest crater you've ever seen. It'll be huge. I don't know what the thing is about. Circle of Two. I didn't see anything that jumped out at me from the stats. Like, it is a weird quiet week for last week being so hot. So, yeah, I did read about that. According to a completely unreadable color, Gigax left Circle of Two, and there's drama. So that's a little outside my purview because my my tools don't catch Reddit shit posts. I mean, I do want to train an NLTK library, but I'd really rather train it to do something useful than read Reddit shit posts. Like, oh my god, can you imagine spending the kind of time to do natural language processing on Reddit? Oh, it'd be the fucking worst. I mean, if I got a grant, like I would actually love to be able to train a computer to understand dog whistles, just because that's an interesting linguistic problem. But that's like you have to like somehow integrate Urban Dictionary into your sentiment and analyzer, and yeah, no. Like that is a path down madness lies. And then for all that work, are you any better than, whitelist, blacklist kind of stuff? So whatever. But no, I'm not gonna train a robot to read shit posting. I'm gonna leave that to somebody else. If you guys are coming into the show, we start at the top of the hour, so it should be about 15 minutes. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the channel either of the channels. We are live on both YouTube and Twitch. We're on YouTube at a higher quality, if that's your thing. And though Twitch has added transcoding in the last few months, so I might experiment with bringing the thing up. So, and now, like, Eve people don't get how Trump tweeting works. It's adorable, but no, they don't really get it. It's like that crappy impression when you're at a party and people are like, "Oh yeah, no, it's huge," and they hit the buzzwords, but they don't get the style down. No, I love. Let me see if I can share this on the thing thing. Even Prosperbot doesn't like Trump. I don't know if that's going to come out on the feed. Twitter stock worthless thanks to Donald Trump. Even Prosperbot doesn't like Trump. I got a kick out of that because I've got a buddy who has been lamenting his Twitter losses and on that stock, and I just pulled it up today because we were talking. Oh, and if you want IRL market shit posting, like you want tinfoil, you want crystal ball thing, I'm putting money on oil. I could explain. I could go run a big explanation, but like the way global leadership is going, expensive oil would be really useful if you're a person like Trump or Putin or Venezuela or a lot of people who seem to have plenty of money and plenty of problems. So I'm betting on high oil in the next 2 years. Like, if you want to go like quote me on this thing so you can go rub it in my face in a year, I'm thinking $100 a barrel oil, sometime by the spring next year. I don't know if they can do it. I mean, it really depends on Saudi OPEC things and what their deals with the Obama administration were, and like it gets complicated, but I can see a world where I can see it happening. Oh, I'm not saying Venezuela can save themselves. It's just they'd be much happier. Well, some people would be much happier if they actually had oil revenues because they got nothing else. Mostly if we're going to have Daddy Putin driving the thing. So this is more about Daddy Putin than it is about than it's about anyone else in the world. And I mean, high oil prices would be a boon for Trump. That would be following through with his constituents to bring back high-paying oil jobs in those wonderful Rust Belt states that are such a shithole right now. Sorry if your state's a shithole. I'm gonna get so much shit in the comments this week. We'll see if anybody actually watches the pre-show or not. This is me political shit posting. I think we're gonna have expensive oil because I think that's where we have to be with the friends we're now keeping. It's fine. He definitely didn't hack anything. Like the intelligence agencies are wrong. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. But I'm definitely putting USO. I think is the ticker on my watch list. Just because I seriously, it might be that I've been reading the Dictator's Handbook recently. This is how I cope, as I figure out why, rather than just lamenting that. Oh, I'm missing a light. Hold on a sec. Why I was particularly green. That's better. Ooh, I'm so sorry about that. I don't know, if you guys don't ask me questions, I'm just gonna do shit posting. So, because I gotta kill 10 more minutes while we try to get people in here. Be sure to spam your favorite chat channels about your favorite market show that has nothing to do with Eve at this point. A quick note, and I'm going to talk about this again in the show, and then I'm going to go release a post to the patrons. We have new graphs for fuel blocks. But I wish he didn't cut it straight. I look doofy. So I went ahead and integrated Patreon into our Discord. So if you want Discord swag, again, there's no magic that gets hidden behind a Patreon paywall. But I went ahead and added a thing because I like the way they do it in Talking in Stations, that you get a little your name color changes. So that should be at least but oh, sorry, let me get the whole thought out. Holy crap, it's been such a fucking long day. So if you are a patron or you do support the show, there is a $1 reward, because that's the minimum you can pledge. If you accept the reward, it will give you the swag on Discord. If you don't want to press the button for some reason, or you're having trouble getting Discord integrated with your Patreon account, I mean, ping me. I'm available on DM. I can just press the button automatically. But Patreon has automation, and well, automation is the name of the game. So Waleed on YouTube is asking, do I have tips for industry new bros? So the tips I have for new people in industry is accounting is important. Do not think that your mined minerals are free. That's going to really help you make sure that what you're doing is worth your time. So that is accounting is important in that. Sorry, I'm trying to get my whole thought together. So I'm a big proponent of accounting because it helps you understand what is making you money and what is a waste of your time. And so it's important, for instance, to compartmentalize your work so that you understand that like trading on margins is a value add. It is not a part of your base product. And maybe it's worth doing. Maybe it's not worth doing. Building both the final product and all of the subcomponents all have their own opportunity costs. And if they are not value adds, then you need to figure out what you're doing with your time. And freighting, should you freight it yourself or should you get a contractor to do it? Again, by accounting for each step in the chain, you will make sure that you can make sure that you don't end up chasing down things and putting in a bunch of work for something that isn't worth doing. Number 2 step is to understand that what you think is popular and useful may not be what makes you money. So a common trap I see for new players is that they jump straight into frigate and cruiser production. They spend a lot of money on getting that first cruiser BPO, and then they go to market and the margin's like 4%, which is why bother? And instead, if you go and you look across all of the products and cast a much wider net, you'll be able to find products that that will serve you better, are cheaper to get started on, and will actually make you money, and may not be sexy. It might be medium guns, it might be RAM modules, it might be it could be rigs, it could be, there's a lot of products out there. And if you just shoehorn yourself into, well, I mean, building battleships is cool. A battleship BPO is like $1 billion-esque, and it takes a year to get up to ME10, and and the margin is 5%. So who gives a shit? That's a lot of money to make 5% on. Like, when you could be making 25% on the hot gun of the week, or in different other modules that producing for people whose time, who the time is worth it for you, but it's not worth it for them. So yeah. Hope that answers the question. It's a bit of a rant. We can pick it up again at the end of the show. Though post-show is going to be short this week. I have been burning the candle at both ends lately, and I am, as soon as this is done, I am going to crash so hard. The other good news on the dev side is that automation is going forward well. I figured out Dropbox integration just yesterday. Basically have all of the R profiles figured out. We're making decent progress, so I just need to get from the Dropbox integration to the Google Slides integration, and we will be skookum as frig getting that stuff together. So yeah, and Kelly Killingsworth and Black White Gaming are both right about specialization and some of the lower net worth places to work. I don't like telling new bros to go straight to ammo because it's super not sexy, and the top of that is not very high. You can produce and like, as soon as you've mastered the mechanics, you've basically run out the usefulness for ammo production, unless you're going to get really specialized. And yes, Skeptic Nerd Guy, I did say skookum is frig, because AVE is savior. But yeah, like, cool, interesting markets to go look at are things like the Tech 2 component market with microprocessors and capacitors and armor plates. Another one I like to show new bros because this goes completely under their radar and usually makes pretty decent money. Is the RAM market. It's not a huge net money maker, but the margins are excellent. And if you're just trying to, and the startup costs are negligible. So if you're just looking to get your feet wet, I would rather go start in RAM, because RAM then teaches you, oh, these go into Tech 2 items. Oh, what else goes into Tech 2 items? Oh, maybe I could be building those Tech 2 items. Like, that starts a chain of learning that's a lot better than build bullets. So, yeah. There's nothing wrong with building bullets. It's a perfectly acceptable lifestyle. That whole thing caps out way too early, in my opinion, and then you're like, it becomes the bar story of like, yeah, I tried building for a bit, and I built like 1 million units of missiles, and I didn't know what to do after that. So with that, it looks like we're at the top of the hour. So I will try not to hack into the mic, because that would be gross. Go ahead and build the bullets. I don't want people starting there. And here you're looking for all right. So you can disagree. That's fine. But it's my show. Okay. I'm gonna stop being a shit poster. Give me 2 seconds to get the buttons pressed, and we can get Chuchin here. Get this video started. I wish I was going to FanFest. It's a lot of money, man. All right, so just a quick breakdown. I should have done this a second ago. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome to the show. We're about to get the thing started. So if you haven't tuned in before, this is I sell this to non-Eve players as mad money with none of the enthusiasm. We're going to go through the market news. We're going to look at graphs and charts and stuff, so that you are prepared for the next week or the next month, in whatever your trade may be. So personally, I come from an industry background. I like industry stuff, and I believe that understanding the underlying movements of the base materials is a super useful tool when you're trying to figure out like which thing you should be building or what you should be getting out of, that kind of thing. And so I won't give you a whole bunch of like buy this, sell that. Well, we will when we get to minerals, but that's a story. The point of this show is less to tell you, oh, buy this, sell that, make a bunch of money, pump and dump things, and it's more like, hey, this is moving this way and this is moving this way, and you, now that you have that information, can put 2 and 2 together in your own operation, as opposed to me just from telling you from on high. The show runs about 45 minutes. I don't answer questions or talk to the chat during that time. We try to get one nice continuous run through the show, so that our European brethren can just watch the show without a whole bunch of stuff that's not on the screen going on in the background. The show is posted automatically to YouTube, and you can watch at any time. We are dual streaming to both YouTube and Twitch. The quality is higher on YouTube. We are full glorious 1080p on YouTube. I do watch both of the chat channels. We will be answering questions afterwards. So as soon as the show is done, we'll have about a 30-minute Q&A session where if you have general questions or specific questions or want to just shoot the market shit, that is the time we will do audience participation time. So, and then last, the data is generated using Python. All of the data is through public endpoints, things like zKillboard, Eve Central, and the official Eve API. The graphs are generated using R. This is the same technology that CCP Quant uses to build his graphs, and he and I do share snippets. So that's why we use the tools. Last, this is an ongoing project. This is a dev fleet project. So if you are interested in learning Python, if this sort of work, if data science and that kind of stuff intrigues you, do be sure to stop by our Discord and talk to me offline. I have had a bunch of people ping me this week. Actually, we've had a lot more success than I was originally anticipating. And it's up to me to go build out some of the stuff so you guys can help a little bit better. I don't have a lot of good places to jump right in on right this second, but as soon as I clear the current project, that is the next thing on my list to do. So with that, we're about 5 minutes over time. Be sure to share with all of your friends, get them tuned in. Seeing as this is a economic show, I do like seeing numbers moving up and to the right. We should be getting going here momentarily, so please bear with me while I chooch the buttons and make the video go. That button. Hold on. Let's try that one more time. Good evening and welcome to the latest episode of the Eve Prosper Market Show. I'm your host, Lockefox, and I'm here with all the market news you need to know to be ahead of the curve coming in the upcoming week. Let's get started where we usually do, talking about some quick show news, some behind-the-scenes stuff, what you need to know before we get started. First, I want to thank everybody who is tuned in live on Twitch and YouTube. We are simulcasting. If you want to tune in live, we're live on Fridays at 0400. That is Thursday night U.S. time, 8 p.m. Pacific, if you're having trouble with the time zones. All you got to remember is Eve Prosper. That'll get you to Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and our blog. We're here every week, and I'm trying to get more office hour streams together. If you subscribe, you'll be able to know when those office hour streams go live. They're a bit impromptu, so I don't have a schedule for them. Next, be sure to join our Discord. Links are down in the doobly-doo below. That is the absolute very best place to get in touch with me these days. We have a thriving community, and if you're interested at all in the Eve market stuff, some of the metadata, data analytics, dev fleet stuff, you should be joining our Discord. Next, I want to thank all of our patrons who keep this show on the air ad-free week over week. You can support the show directly if you get value from the show, if you enjoy what we're doing. This is not an easy show to produce, but I think that the Eve online community is worth it. If you want to throw a couple of bucks in the beer jar, patreon.com/Eve Prosper is the place to do it. And to existing patrons, I would encourage you to log into your accounts, link up your Discord to your account, and claim our Angel Investor reward at $1, which will give you, which will automatically grant you Discord swag, so that the color on your name, so everybody can know how swag you are. Again, we do not gate any content through our Patreon. The Patreon is just to keep the show on the air and our hardware running and our software paid for. So we don't gate any content, but we are absolutely here every week thanks to our patrons. So if you get value, give a buck. If you can't give a buck, that is totally fine. Be sure to subscribe to us on all of our platforms, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and our blog at Eve Prosper, and so that we can have more subscribe numbers going up and to the right. So that is just as helpful. With that, I think I'm going to go ahead and get straight into the meat of the show, now that we've blasted through the fun part. And we're going to start where we always do, with Plex. Now, longtime viewers of the show will remember that I'm eating a bit of crow on my Plex prediction. I predicted back in December that we'd be down under $1 billion, down at the 950 range. And then the December economic numbers came out, and I had to eat my words. So, new outlook is 1.1 billion. I was expecting to hit that by the end of the month, but it looks like we've backed off that momentum for the time being. This particular pattern is one we're going to see a lot this week. Let me make sure I've got the right things in the right order. This peak and slump sort of pattern is one that we're going to see in like all of the graphs this week. So Plex is staying steady at 1.5 billion. If we go look at the year-long view, we can see that this climb, if you're a betting man, matches a similar period almost a year ago and last spring. I don't think the specifics of what's going on right now really can let you draw those lines as one-to-one. There was a lot of different stuff happening last year this time of year, and we still haven't seen the FanFest news. The FanFest run-up has not really started yet, so this actually could stand to pop. So if you didn't buy in 2 weeks ago when I told you to buy in, now's another decent chance to buy in. I don't think it'll go down, essentially. I'm not sure if it'll go up, because we're really reliant on FanFest hype driving some of the other hype between, we need FanFest hype, and we need Alpha Clone's media push, add media push kind of thing to really start putting heat into this market beyond where it is right now. Looking at the supply chain, again, we are under that magic 1K number. To be a little reductionist in Plex, I do expect the equilibrium point to be 1K items Plex on sale. And now that we're under that slightly, we see slight positive growth pressure. So, that's to be expected. It's going where we expect it. There's a little extra buy pressure, looking like there's some shenanigans going on in some of the Citadel spaces. But nothing in here is really jumping out at me as interesting or exceptional, just that we're under 1K, and that will provide some upward pressure. Next, looking at the other RMT items, those are items that are either bought with Plex or money or Arum, and my scales have been washed out thanks to the resculpt certificates, which I might have to just pull off of this graph, because I don't think anybody gives a crap about the resculpt certificates. I think I'm the only one who cares. We're seeing that the premium we've been seeing in skill extractors is starting to narrow. I know you have to squint really hard to really see it, but I promise it's totally there. Looking at the skill extractor market, I really need to change that type too. I'll make a note. So we're seeing that the margins are slipping only in so much that the price of Plex is rising, and still at 750 skill ISK per skill point. This is still a good time to be a skill point farmer. For our newer bros, I might want to remind you that if you have a ISK making tune, if you have the 5 million skill points, if you don't need more skills on that tune, if it's purely a cash making alt, you can subsidize your playtime by just selling the skill points. Like, this is profit right here, making an extra 50 million a month on top of the cost to extract the skill points. I know that skill points are super precious, and bigger numbers are always better, but like, if you have an ISK making tune and it does not need more than the skill points it has, you should maybe consider using those skill points to keep that Omega status, rather than basically subsidize your Omega status just off the meat in your brain. And looking at the injector market, supplies are getting a little bit high. I know it's hard to read between the spikes, so I expect some downward pressure, but I don't think we're going to go much below the 625 mark. Like, the last couple of weeks, we've seen a little bit of peaking, but I mean, and the median has moved slightly from 750 on market to a little over 1,000 on market. So this could start getting unstable, but I think that the instability is going to rise more from the cost of Plex and keeping those skill point farms running, more than instability in the market. Like, this sure reads to me that for the extra supply, we're actually still seeing extra demand. Next, moving on to our look at the general markets. I want to let me actually look this up for 2 seconds. Hopefully it didn't roll off the bottom. Was it Skia? Okay. So I gotta thank Skia Almer for catching me and calling me out. The graph is slightly different from the previous weeks. I have moved to a new way to plot these graphs, and for some reason there's an extra like trillion ISK in the numbers. I'm not sure why, and it's going to be a real butthole to debug. So I'm sorry, and thank you for catching it, but this is just the way it is. We're seeing a little bit of slump. So like I said, this peak a week ago and slump is we see it in the ship markets, we see it in the mineral markets, we see it in the general trade market, we see it in the skill trading market, we see it in a little bit in the RMT market. So like, that trend is across the board. And actually the slump in mining is a little bit suspicious. I still expect a lot of material being mined and coming to market, but it sure seems to me like a lot of it's not actually coming to markets in places that the API counts. So it makes it really hard for a guy like me who relies entirely on the API to get the information on these. And then looking at the total destruction in the game, we did see a quiet couple of weeks. I had said at the start of the year that there was a lot of talk and not a lot of action. And so we saw a slump coming out of the winter holidays, but we're still seeing reasonably high activity levels at something in the 15,000 kills per day. And values are tracking back up over the 1 trillion mark, which is always good to see. Looks like it's going to be a hot weekend if the trends are to be believed. We again saw a peak and a slump this week. It might just be that people are reorganizing. There has been another wave of meta shit posting that could land another set of wars going on, but other than nullsec, I'm not seeing any major operations really come across my feed that denote particular, like, above the normal PvP activity. So I'm not sure exactly where we're going to end up here. Moving on to minerals. We're going to start in titanium, holding steady at 5.0. Demand is staying steady. Prices are staying steady. If we go zoom in on the market, supply lines are staying pretty steady, even if buy quantities are growing. I do expect the supply lines to be a little bit hotter than this, but again, that whole Goons and Delve not really coming to market thing might be stymieing this particular trend. I know that it's tempting to look at this and see upward trend, but let me see if can I actually get a thing to draw on the thing? No, I can't do a thing. One, like, that's not really an upward trend, and two, the margin here between buy and sell is extremely narrow, so I don't love speculating in titanium. Next, pyrite. Again, we saw a big spike last week and dropping back down to the 7.0 mark. Demand is staying relatively stable. Nothing really exciting going on here. Some signals saying that we could be heading back up, but I, again, don't really believe them. If we look at the recent zoom in, this is probably the last 24 hours. Supply lines have ticked up towards the 6 billion mark, which means that prices are falling. If you are a T1 producer, pyrite prices under 6.5 is a very tempting offer for stockpiling. So I know that I say this every week. I don't like stockpiling, but if you're being smart with your investments and leveraging the ebbs and flows, a little bit of stockpiling can go a long way to getting an extra few percent out of your operation. So I'd be putting in some ambitious buy orders in the 6.4, 6.3, 6.25 sort of range. I'd be aiming for something down by this dingle here to get that 6.25, and maybe buy up a week or two's worth of material, so that when this bounces back towards 7.0, when this if this subsides, which I think it will, you get to make money off that 6.25 to 7 jump, which, what's that? It's a little better than 10%. So yeah. Next, Mexilon, which was our star pupil last week, crashing into the 80 mark just ahead of the show, has started to lose some steam. And again, same pattern as before. We saw a big peak right at the show last week, and we were really in this shortage area at 500 million units. But supply lines are tracking up just slightly over that unstable point. I still think there is positive play here. I still think a target price of 80 is obtainable, but we need to keep a really close eye on these supplies, because as soon as we get to about 750 million units, I think we'll start tracking back down to the 75, 60, 65 range. So I'd keep a very close eye on this. This would be, if you're a gambling man, this is a decent buy, jumping on this sub 70 buy order, hoping for an 80 sell order. But that's a risky play, and you'll be able to get out without losing any money. But I don't think that you'll, like, it's number one, risky that you'll make money. Number two, not risky that you'll lose money. So it's a positive. It's a positive. A positive outlook, in my opinion. Next, looking into Isogen, we are just under 65, again showing this weakness. Supplies are tracking up as well, and again, I have a downward prognosis on Isogen. I have for a few weeks. The prices, I think, are going to come down just under this 60 mark. We'll see how high the supplies go. I think Isogen really relies more on casual high-sec miners more than null-sec miners. So this is more a measure of how productive are alphas, in my opinion. But it's not. It's a really weak metric for that. So Isogen down. That's the story there. Noxium also trending down. This one has been really hard to predict. It's been in this sort of could go either way place. And with everything else down for the week, Noxium is following suit. For it tracking down in average prices, the supply line has not really risen that high. So this is, I think, temporary, and I think we're going to rebound back over the 375 mark. But I don't think we're going to hit. I don't think we have any hope of hitting 400. So I don't think this would be a. I don't think this would be a. I don't think this is a words. I don't think this is a buy. Just that the numbers look worse than they actually are. Next, Zydrene. The bubble is popping. Oh my God. I have said for months that I thought that this trend right after Ascension of heading up was completely ludicrous. And we're finally losing momentum here. We saw a big shortage as somebody bought out some 40 million units out of the market. And the supply lines are growing back up to the 120 million mark, tracking in towards the 160 mark. So if you were holding Zydrene, if you think that it's coming back, sell. Like, you need to be out of Zydrene now. I think that this weekend is going to be bad. Next weekend's going to be worse. We'll see just how high this number goes. I don't know if we'll get above the 160 mark, but I think we're going to be heading back towards a sub 1.1K Zydrene price. So I'm finally right. If I just say the same thing over and over every week, I can't be wrong every week. Right, guys? Next, Megasite is also showing some breakage, just not quite at the levels of Zydrene. Prices are backing off the 1600 mark, even though volumes are staying steady. And again, we see the same pattern where some 20 million units were bought out, and then all of a sudden, a lot of extra supply started coming back onto the market. We'll see if we get over those 60 million supply mark. I don't have quite as bad a prognosis for Megasite as I do for Zydrene. I just might be bitter about Zydrene. I think 1.3 target is sort of my expectation here. So I would get out and I would stay out. If you're a gambling man, again, buying, putting some speculative buy orders down in the 1200 range might be worth it. But I don't know. It's really hard from here to tell you, like, if you manage to snag up a cheeky buy order, will you be able to get rid of it at a decent price? So there's so little to be lost putting in one of those cheeky buy orders. But yeah, it's gonna be an interesting ride. And then last, Morphite is the one bucking our trend, spiking back over the 12K mark and losing some steam. Longtime fans of the show will know that I have an outstanding buy for anything under 10K as a buy, anything over 10K as a sell. This tends to be really cyclic, and we saw a big bulge in the Tech 2 markets in both bombers and Logi ships, and that supply demand, that demand really ate up the supplies. But seeing as we are coming back to standard levels, and as much as I expect the Morphite supply to be relatively capped, I think we'll be back under 10K, maybe not this weekend, but definitely by next weekend. Moving on to fuel, and ooh, what is this? Is this a shiny new graph? Yes, I went ahead and changed one of our oldest, updated one of our oldest index graphs to use the intraday prices rather than the crest prices. And the interesting thing here is what the absolute crap is going on with nitrogen isotopes. If I were a betting man, I believe this is a big productivity boost going on in Delve, where I don't know why they didn't stock up here, but something goons, I don't know. If they are amping up their internal Moongoo refining operation, you should expect goons to be using Caldari towers, because this is the fuel for Caldari towers. Now, the rest of the rainbow blocks are staying steady at 700, and I don't know how steady this price at over 800 is. So if you bought in here, which I don't think I told anyone to buy in here, because I thought that we'd get to from 650 to just under 700, and that's a little bit, that's just shy of 10%, and I really want I really try to tell you guys when it's 10% or better, but it shot way the hell up. I expect this to come crashing back down in reasonably short order, because I expect miners to just destroy this. Like, that's too juicy. And oh, what's this? Another shiny new graph. Are those build prices in the dotted colored lines? That I don't know if it's coming out on the stream very well. Yes, that does include build prices, so you can actually see a shrinking build margin. If you have comments about the new graphs, I would love to hear them. Do leave comments either here or on words on our Discord. I don't love the different flavors build charts, because the only variance is the isotope prices. So I might reduce this to just like a quote-unquote standard fuel block, where we normalize out the margin from isotopes and just plot basically just the PI prices. But it's interesting to see the margins get really thin. I wasn't able to pull a longer one before the show, but the margins right this second have narrowed to nearly zero across the board, which is strange. And I don't know if this is a new paradigm that we're going to end up in. What's that? 20 to 22. So 20 to 22, this is about 10%. So it was making about 8% or 7%, and now we're in a sub 4%, which that's a really tight margin to be working in. So it's a really bad time to be a block producer. So I don't know if this is going to scare a bunch of those block producers out of doing their work. But I assume they have spreadsheets that are telling them just how much their lunch is getting eaten. So we'll see. Next, strontium. We saw a big spike last week in prices as the last of this stuff got bought out, resetting the market. I'm wondering if that's an exploitable pattern where we get below a certain supply level, and buying out 5 million units of strontium isn't that high an order. It's just that these like 15K spikes don't last more than like 3 hours, and to buy out the top of this graph, to try and then sell it on the area underneath here, like I don't know. This smells a little bit more like manipulation than supply, like legitimate supplying. And last, heavy water. We're starting to see supplies get a little bit thin on the ground, so I'd expect prices to trend towards 400. I don't know if we'll get above 375. Again, that's not quite enough to call this a buy. To go from 300, like a 300 buy order to 375 is almost enough. Yeah, it's almost enough. So, like, if you were really good on your buy orders and you were really sure of the way things were going, that might not be a bad buy. But it's risky, and the margins are pretty tight. So if you don't have good skills, I think the taxes would kill you on this one. Next, we move on to outliers, where we look across the market at things that are weird and try to explain them. We start where we usually do in advanced materials, because I am self-indulgent about production, and I really like talking about moons. We're seeing some surges in metamaterials. We're going to point at the surge in Logi ships causing this. If you were a speculator, I would be looking for overcorrection on the metamaterial markets. They should come down a little bit further. So plasmonic, I really like at the moment. The nonlinear isn't bad either. Otherwise, not a whole lot going on here except for a big spike in nanotransistors. But we're going to talk about that in a little bit more detail. I know this doesn't quite come out in on the screen. The nanotransistor price spike is because last week we saw a big run on neodymium, or just to make skeptic nerd guy happy, neodymium. We saw a big buyout, a really tight market for supply, and then a big surge in supply. And what we're seeing here, I think, is some moons were changing hands, leading to the shortage. And then this oversupply is both those moons coming back online and old masters burning old supply. So that ends up tanking the prices. So I'd be watching actually this weekend for like I'd put in a particularly ambitious buy order in the 17.5 range, and try to slurp up a little bit of this. It's a risky bet because we could end up back at 15K, but like it's hard to tell you where the peak is when it's up. Like where does the thing stop? I don't think we're going to go much over the 5 million supply mark. So I'm hoping that we stabilize at a 20K price, but I might just be projecting. And the nanotransistors are just having that neodymium price wash forward through the week. So that spike last week is causing a spike this week as producers re-up their reactions, and that cost gets reflected with a lag. I really like speculating on moon materials. It's a personal favorite of mine, but the last time I tried to explain it in depth on the show, it didn't actually do what it was supposed to do, and then I looked like an idiot. So we're not going to spend a ton of time on that. Drone coronary units. So Let me see if I've got the stuff in the right order. I don't. Because it's another thing. Right. So drone coronary units, these are another one of the items that I think is going into the new mining drones. It looks like supply chains are getting really tight again, and again we might be seeing that the where elite drone AIs were the choke point before and CCP rebalanced. Drone coronary units might be the next choke point, and prices are spiking hard. I think that it's a little too late to be jumping in on this bandwagon, but be prepared for a 8 million to 10 million price spike if this does not get alleviated in the next week or so. Next is the Mauler, looking quite high. Supplies demand isn't that high. Like we're seeing, something in the range of 100 sold a day. But the demand has. This actually looks like a supply shortage at the moment. Not sure who is buying up all the Maulers. I don't know why they're so popular at the moment. Just that they are. And if you're a T1 producer and you race down to the market this weekend, you might be able to make an extra buck. And then second to last section, we talk about our predictions from the last few weeks. So I tell you where I got it right and where I got it wrong. First, I can't believe I didn't have this in our render deck before, but I have since fixed it. Logistics cruisers, I was just not pulling the numbers, and the Scimitar hit one of our flags, but the Guardian did not. So it's interesting seeing those be so popular, and nobody loves the Oneros because it's not cap stable. The party is over though on Scimitars, so I would be watching this like a hawk for producers coming into market and overproducing. Getting this down to 150 seems a little bit low, but it's not out of the ordinary. You could get a buy order down to 150. I don't know when the Scimitar party will come around again, so it's kind of it's a weird spot to be in. Like, it's a decent long-term speculation, but it's an expensive one, and you got to tie up the cash for a while because at 150 million, like, if you buy 5, like, that's a $500 million ISK. That's more than 5. That's like 750 million ISK. Like, you can't. It's a risky place to put money. The Hyena we highlighted last week, and I said if you're a producer, be wary because again we saw the big spike, and then supply is going to rush in to fill that great margin, and we're going to overcorrect. We haven't yet overcorrected under the 20 million mark, but I'm going to give it one more weekend to see if I'm right or not. I'm probably wrong. We haven't seen as much overcorrection in the last few months. Since we came back from hiatus this summer, the pattern of overcorrection has been less reliable. But now with alphas in the system, there's been more heat to work with. So I'm not ready to give up that behavior yet. Caldari control towers was another one I said last week, is that if you were holding them, get them sold. It looks like some of you guys followed through. Prices are tracking back down again. Not a whole lot of interesting things to say here, only that it was high, and I hope you cashed out when it was high. It's tempting to buy right now for the reversal, but actually it's not a terrible idea. When I was looking at the PI numbers, they're reasonably stable, so this wouldn't be a terrible investment. It just, again, is another expensive one that's risky, and I think the party is over, but we'll see this weekend with how high the nitrogen prices are. This could absolutely double hump. Like, so one of the spoilers from doing this too long is that we see patterns of 2 reasonably often, but we very rarely see patterns of 3. And it's tempting to say that, oh, there's going to be a third hump thanks to the nitrogen, but I don't love that prediction, and I'd hate to lose you guys money on that. And I believe this is the last one for the set. A little bit out of order. I just wanted to show that if you are a harmonic convergence kind of guy, that Elite Drone AI settling pattern after they adjusted the drop rates sure looks like a dampened spring mass kind of equation, don't it? Like this is the sort of pattern that this is why I have that overcorrection idea, is that if you look at this like a signal damper kind of thing, we see this pattern actually a lot where things are very high and then prices get screwed up, and then we might see rises again as people jump back in, and then we'll see us back at equilibrium. But now we're at equilibrium, so this party's basically over until something changes. We might see it start to track a little bit up if we don't get relief in the drone items, but yeah, that's it's a thing. Last but not least, our violence report, where we look across the whole Eve cluster to try and figure out who's killing who and for why. As far as what is dying this week, not a super interesting graph. We're seeing, what are those? Vexor Navy issues back at the top of the heap, along with the Asteros are very popular, but the mix of items is standard. We've seen this before. Nothing really jumping out. Volumes are basically good. Not a whole, they're basically average, so good job. Next is ships destroyed. We're seeing VTAC 3YG7 leading the pack this last week, with still a lot of activity in DO6H-Q. Jita Tama and Villarear actually is another new one on the list. We don't see that one come up very often. And then active regions, nothing really exciting here except for Catch is leading our nullsec, and we still see Black Rise, Citadel, and Forge bringing up the Empire space parts of the equation. So with that, I want to thank everybody who tuned in live. This has been your Eve Prosper Market Show. I've been your host, Lockefox, and if you want to follow the show, if you want to tune in live, sorry, let me try to do this correctly. If you want to tune in live, we're on both Twitch and YouTube at 0400 Friday Eve time, which is Thursday night US. You can follow us at Eve Prosper at Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and our blog. We do try to post reasonably regularly. I know I've been slacking on the blogging. If you want to get in touch with me, if you enjoy the show, if you want to talk more market stuff, I encourage you to join our Discord channel. Links are down in the description below. And if you get value from this show, do consider supporting our Patreon. Our patrons keep this show ad-free every week, keep our server bills paid, keep the hardware running, and make this show possible. So I got to thank our patrons every single week. If you cannot support us directly, I completely understand. Do share this show with your friends. Get subscribed. I do like seeing numbers move up and to the right. So anything you can do to spread the good word of Market Show goodness, I would appreciate that. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and end this week's show. I've been your host, Lockefox. This has been the Eve Prosper Show, and I will be back next week with more market news and more graphs. And we press that button, and that's a show. All right. Let me try not to like cough right into your guys' ears. It was really hard not to do that. So we had some questions. Riff Raff's Elbow was asking if what I say causes pump and dumps kind of stuff. So I try really hard not to give too many like buy this thing or sell this thing kind of calls. I know that this was a little bit higher than average. I really try to aim for markets that have a carrying capacity that 10 billion-ish could show up on it and not completely destroy it. And the number of markets that's possible in is actually a relatively short list. I also hate being wrong, so I'd rather be wishy-washy and be like, if you're a gambler, like do this thing, like I'd rather be like, this is interesting, you should do the research and figure out if it's a good buy or not, rather than like I just want to make your search for items faster more than be here and tell you buy this thing, sell this thing, make a whole bunch of money, pump and dump. Because that's not interesting to me. Like, just I really don't want my cult of personality to drive the markets, because then there's no data science to do. It's all just cult of personality. So that's the answer there. And also, if you ask people like Feridian, my old hydrostatic buddy, my hit rate is worse than 50%. So, and if you watch the prediction reviews, like I miss just as many as I hit. So I am no Sage of Wall Street. Sorry, Oracle of Jita, I guess would be the thing. I used to say Oracle of Fliet, but now I don't live there because people are jerks. Let's see. DXPND. I just want to put a quick second and say that the faucet equation is complicated, and this is a rant for another night, so I'm going to let other people get questions in if you guys want to get questions in. When it comes to broad basket inflation, EVE costs are relatively flat. Like, across the board, if you take out Plex, inflation is nearly zero. And it's actually negative in a lot of places. Like, it's become cheaper and easier to do a lot of the work of EVE. The living of EVE is getting cheaper, and the ability to generate cash is getting higher. So, like, the hours of work that go into that get destroyed in PvP is better than it's ever been. I am personally worried about the faucets on rat bounties coming out of nullsec. Those continue to grow at a not happy rate that is going to lead to some real hurt in the long run, but that is a much longer rant, and we will talk about it when the January numbers come out in 2 weeks. Let's see. And I'm sorry that notifications didn't go out. I do try to. It might be that when and I'll have to go look through the things. I got a couple of people complaining that YouTube didn't notify them. I try to put the schedule notification about 4 hours before we go online, and then I just press go on my side. So I don't know. I don't really understand the phone notifications thing, because I don't have the bell notified on any channel I watch. So it's just I'll have to go mess with it. Pale. Yeah, okay. I can give you a link to the thing. So Amazon. Oh, come on. And I picked that up thanks to, so Pale Peril was asking for a link to the Dictator's Handbook, which I picked up thanks to CGP Gray's 2 videos, Rules for Rulers. Mostly, again, that my frustration with American politics, I'd rather spend it constructively rather than just bitching on the internet about it. So, yeah. Yes, and Riff Raff is right, buy more drugs. Drugs are amazing. If you don't use boosters, do use boosters. Drugs are awesome. Do lots of drugs. And I hope Skeptic Nerd Guy appreciated my Skookum Chooching Neodendliums. Because, oh my god, I love his show so much. Not bad. Again, if you have questions, feel free to ask them in either chat. I'm watching both YouTube and Twitch. If you guys don't ask questions, I start ranting about dev stuff. And though I can go on all day about Python and how amazing it is, I know that's my thing. I'm a weirdo. I'm a freaky freak, right? Like brain damage and all that. I was actually if I may prime the pump while I wait for questions. So my problem is that I want to automate making the show slide deck. Like we run this in Google Slides. Like there's nothing special about this. Like, okay, the graphs are a little bit special, but otherwise it's really not that special. And Google released a big suite of APIs for the entire Drive set, and so I'm like, oh yes, finally. And so they broke the operating path for building slides. Pisses me off. Like, so I make these graphs and they're giant, right? Like at full res, they're 1600 by 900, right? Like can I get this at full size? What's the full size? That's not even full size. Like that's the full render size, I'm pretty sure, right? And so okay, now can I get out of this? Thank you. And so I dropped them onto this 720p canvas, and you'll love this. Like I come in here, I can do it here live. You drop it on here, and it's not the full fucking size. So, oh my god, pisses me off so much. But thankfully they added automation. So the automations made my life so much easier now that I finally fucking did it. I just got the R automation done this last weekend so that I can just press a button and all of the charts show up in order, which I should have done ages ago. Like that cut an hour out of my life. And so that, and then I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday, I just did the Dropbox integration, which, oh my god, that is such a nice API. Like, you just hit it and you're like, hey, can I get the link to this thing? And it's like, sure, buddy, here it is, in 1 or 2 calls. And it's super fast. It's super easy to use. Like, all of the hard parts have been sanded off. Like, skookum is frig. The problem I have is that I now have to go push it into the Google Slides API, and as much as it's nice to have the automation, the library support just isn't there yet. It's too new. There are libraries that exist, but like the Dropbox API comes with an entire Python library with all of the endpoints already pre-bound and all of the magic done for it. The Google Slides API has a connector that'll help you, but you have to build up the JSON. You have to validate the shit. You have to do the handshaking. Like, it doesn't do a lot for you. It's there and it can be run, and it's better than a sharp poke in the eye, but it's going to take some work to get it actually debugged. So that's where we are on that. Carrie Killingsworth is asking, what languages did I learn in what order? And I didn't know that coding was being used as a foreign language requirement. So we'll start with the first half of that. Is that so technically I learned Java first, but that's because I come from a generation where college CS 101 is Java. Like, I don't know if that's still the case, but I'm pretty sure that's still the case. I don't hate Java. I just don't love it. It's a thing. It's a compiled language. I don't love compiled languages. I then worked mostly in C for my last job, and it wasn't. We like to call it C+, not C++, because it was kind of a weird bastard version of like C89 plus some object-oriented stuff that was weirdly, terribly hacked together. And like I only recently have really considered myself a coder, because I basically just failed my way upwards from like, so the long story is that I go and I take 101 and I'm like, oh, this isn't that bad. Like, I can do this. Like, make a computer do this stuff. Like, whatever. That's not that bad. I go to CS 102 and they're like, okay, let's teach you object-oriented programming, and none of it clicks. I do not understand what an object is at all. Does not at all click. So I just dropped the class before by the refund date, and I'm like, I guess I'm not a coder. So I focus all my time in Power, because that's what failure coders in EE do, is that they become Power engineers. And then I graduate and I get a job, and it's a Silicon C job, and I'm like, well, good job on that life planning thing, dude. Good job. So it was either learn how to code or get fired. So I learned how to code. I didn't learn how to code well, because it was a whole bunch of EEs who are very smart dudes and definitely can solve every problem, but are shit at asking for help. And so there were so many wheels remade, so many things redone that didn't need to be redone, and so many solutions to common problems done very badly. Whatever. So I also learned Perl, which is great for hackers. I kind of like it as if you just want to make a computer do a thing, like Perl is a great hacking tool. The downside to Perl is that hell is other people's Perl. And Perl you wrote 3 or 6 months ago is completely unreadable. Like, it is very, very hard to write sustainable Perl. It's great when you just need your computer to do the thing. It's fucking awful when you need it to be like production. So then, thanks to the Aderon Robotics guys, what's his name? What was he in? Marcel Devereux, who made the Aura app, which is now out of the thing. I picked up Python through there. Was that like, oh, Perl is neat, but Perl's a pain in the ass. Oh, Python really clicks. Like, Python clicked real hard in my brain. Like, Python's how I learned how to do object-oriented coding, because I finally got it. Python forces you to it really tries its best to make your code readable, because the white space stuff is a thing. And external library, like, it was easy to process data and easy to do extra libraries and get more functionality out of it. Like, I really felt like I wasn't just doing stupid shit. And those Python projects led to the Prosper project, which we're looking at today. The old one was 2.7. We're now doing it in 3.5. If you're writing new projects, write it in Python 3. Yeah. And like, okay, so I have some pain about productizing Python. It's amazing as a library. It's amazing as a runtime script. It's kind of a pain in the ass when you want to like really bring an app together, but whatever. I've really spent the last year of work learning Python architecture. And oh my God, I didn't know shit. I thought I knew what I was doing. Oh my God, I was fucking awful. But if you write Python correctly, and frankly, there needs to be better like pointers to like how to write Python correctly, because it's really easy to not write Python correctly. It just sings. It works extremely well. It's easy to integrate tests. It's easy to do all the things that need to be done to be a big boy programmer. Like it just clicks in my brain for the way that it handles objects and the way I can do. I don't have to do hard typing. That's the thing that kills me about compiled languages, is that my kingdom for like hard typing your functions and passing by pointer and reference and all that shit. If I never have to Smalloc again, it'll be too fucking soon. But yeah, it's a thing. So yeah, I came up as a double E. I thought I was going to be a power engineer, and I was fucking wrong. And now I'm a full-time coder, even though I said 5 years ago that I would never be a full-time coder. So, what's that for plans? Don't get me started on the 2-3 split. So it turns out for like 95% of projects, it's not a problem anymore. As long as if you're starting a new project and there's only a couple of corner cases where you're kind of stuck for 2.7. And so that's old timey, there's a lot of legacy stuff has to be on 2.7. So like I was just listening to a podcast about Grumpy, which is replacing the C interpreter with a Go one. But they were like, yeah, we have to do it in 2.7, and we're only 30% through the language, and yeah, we're not going to 3. I'm sorry. And it's the same for is it Rust? The Rust one. I forget what there's a Java one as well. A Jython, I think was what it was. And like these are all 2.7 because they were coming from a legacy thing, and they're going to keep doing a legacy thing, and we're just shit out of luck for that. Also, when it comes to encryption libraries, that's one of the 2 to 3 split things that breaks shit, is that the bytecode stuff and encryption, just the support for libraries isn't there. It's not that you can't do it, it's that you can't futurize it, so you have to do all the fucking work again. But like NumPy and SciPy and Pandas all work, Flask and Django and Pyramid all work, all of the database connectors work, like, and to be honest, I do use Python 3 functionality, like the current architecture of the new Prosper project uses and I don't know what the name of it is, but it actually uses a feature of Python 3 so that we can have multiple libraries, but all be under a similar roof. So if you give me a sec, I can share that on the thing. There's the thing. All right. So I don't know if slides is a good place to do it. So if you go to github.com/eveprosper, and let me blow that up so you guys can read it. you'll see that all of the projects have a similar shape, where we've got a bunch of stuff on the top. That's how to get the thing running, the docs, the tests, and then Prosper. And then inside Prosper is the actual libraries we'll be using, and inside those libraries is where you see the init.py. So we have that on there. We have a similar thing here in the Prosper warehouse, where there's a Prosper folder, there's a warehouse folder, and a tables config folder, so that when you import a Prosper project, you'll end up with, in your site directory, you'll have Prosper, and then you'll have all the libraries from Prosper all under one roof, rather than having to link them. So it turns out that wheeling in Python 3 is easier. This particular format for projects is only supported in 3. There's also a bunch of cool async stuff going on in 3, but I don't know much about the async stuff. So that's a thing I got to do. And the standard libraries are much better in Python 3. Like 3.6 is amazing, and the support that they're doing there is a godsend. And for the little bit of pain of Futurize and prints not working the same way, the honest truth is that it's a better platform. There's a lot better access to everything you need, and you can get a lot further on the standard lib, which is a huge pain in the ass when you're working on enterprise stuff and you can't import jack shit, and you have to write everything yourself. Having the standard library be as extensive as it is and as well supported as it is a huge step up. Like the fact that config parser is now built in. The URL lib is better, but request is even better. The async libraries are built in now. I don't know if the logger works differently, but I'm a big fan of the logger right now. So I know I went for a while. I hope you guys are still in the channel. Mighty Enigma asks opinion on the new Galente skins. I like them. They're shiny. They're red. I have a soft spot for pink ships. They're almost pink, which is close enough. And there's another. We had a question from Mr. Strats about helium ISOs. So let's go back to helium ISOs. Let's go back to helium ISOs. Hadoop. Hadoop. See, they're all in order. Isn't this great? Okay, so I guess that'll do. So that, and we go back down there and we make it, I don't know. What's a good color here? No, that's a terrible color. I lied. So we're asking about, no, that sucks. I'm already using that one. I'm screwing myself for coverage. Okay. So we're asking here about the spike on hydrogen isotopes. And then we also have the big dip in helium isotopes. I don't know if I have the zoom-ins on those. Let's double check. So helium isotopes. WAT. No. You pulled these. These should be up to date. I mean, supplies got a little hot, but nothing out of the ordinary. I wonder if I have a bug. Oh, I bet I have a bug. Ah, shit fuck. God damn it. I bet you I have a goddamn bug in there because that's a smoothed out line. It's not a real one. God damn it. Ah, fuck my life. I know how to fix it. I just don't wanna. I bet you that's it. Oh my god. It's a good thing I still have the profile in the thing. We're not going to debug it on the stream because that is boring. Yeah, that's probably just a fuck. Man, I need to get better at smoothing. So I can tell you how we got there. Because I think I've got the boat. So let's see here. So you see how everything's jagged, like here, and we get these little bumps and whatever. I wanted to get rid of those by smoothing out the daily price because we have 24 shots a day, and we zero pad thanks to the time. I think probably have to double check that. So I was thinking, oh, I'll just put a 24-hour smoother on here, and it'll look prettier. Like, you don't need all these jagged thingies in that graph. I already have 4 lines on it, like, and they're all super overimposed on each other. Like, we might as well make it a little less noisy by smoothing it out, right? Like, this is reaching the level of complexity where we're not loving what's going on here, right? Like, it's getting a little bit hard to read here in the center here, where everything looks a little dick buddy. Okay, so you get in here and it's hard to, the color contrast isn't quite high enough. Like, this blue and green are pretty close together. That yeah, it kind of sucks. So I wanted to smooth it out to make it easier to read, and we see how much good that did. So let's see. Let's go actually look at nitrogen. Nitrogen isotopes. Oh my fucking god. I am a big fat idiot. Oh, that pisses me off so much. Okay, it's fine. Everything's fine. This is fine. I hate reporting bad data. I feel like an asshole. I know where to fix it. I don't want to. I was really looking forward to that being done. Oh, Mr. Strats, thank you. Thank you. That's what I get when I have quantitative tests and not qualitative ones. It's just I wanted to be like, this has been my lot in life lately, is that so any project getting every half you get to, it's the Nero Xenu, sorry, it's the Xenu's paradox, every half takes twice as much. Where, the first 50% goes great. Everything's great. You're knocking down shit. You're getting all this stuff done. And then the next half to get to 75%, you're like, oh man, like, oh, that's twice as much work. I got to make sure there's tests running on everything. And, oh, I got to make sure I've got this corner case covered. And then you go the next 25% to 80 something. And you're like, oh, you're doubling the amount of work again, and like, you're really getting in the fucking weeds, and you're wondering if you just rewrite big swaths of the thing because you felt like an idiot. Like, that's what this feels like. That's what my work thing has been feeling like, is that I got to the 50% mark last week on this thing, and I was already behind. And I was like, oh, well, but that's fine because I wrote, I was smart and I wrote all these great tests, so I can take the test runner out of there, and I can take like, I'm sure that the framework works the way it's supposed to. I've got samples for everything. That's great. And then I'm like, oh, and then I got to integrate it into the build, and oh, fuck me, the building software is a pain in the ass. And oh shit, I gotta go write the runner over again because the old runner I had didn't use the app framework. I'm trying to use this as a golden golden sample of the way app frameworks are supposed to look, because I'm going to go cut cookie cutters off this thing. And like, it has been so hard to get excited again with the whole, like, it was so much work getting the last section up. Getting this other section up is going to take just as much effort as that first section did. And the first section was supposed to be easy too. Oh, Jesus. So that's I'm tired. It's been a long week. It's been a hard work. It's going to be great when it's done. It's going to be amazing when it's done. It's going to be the best. The very best. It's going to be huge. I just need to make it run, and I need to not kill my coworkers who keep asking me the same thing about the other library I'm trying to use as a golden god. And yeah. With that, we're getting close to the time cutoff. Actually, I probably should have ended 5 minutes ago. If you have more questions, do please ask them. I'm going to make this the 5-minute warning. I want to thank everybody who has tuned in. I want to thank everybody who enjoys my code rants, because I still feel like this is the driest content on the entire internet, and the fact that you guys love it, like, I love it. I'll just keep talking about it. None of you guys could tune in, and I just keep talking to the internet. But the fact that you're here means a lot to me. That my insanity brings you entertainment. Oh, for a second I was 32. I'm like, oh my god, are we back up at 50 people watching me rant about nothing? Like, my whole programming thing right now is making sustainable programming infrastructure. And oh god, that is a trap question. There isn't one. You need a library. So Angelic Rage is asking me if there's one ship BPO of any class, race, or type that's worth investing in, what would it be? No, there isn't one ship BPO. If you're going to be a producer, you need a BPO library, and you need to be diversified. And ships are the worst place to be into. That being said, having access to some of the tech too, like your bombers and such, might not be terrible, but getting the bandwidth to actually leverage that resource to its fullest is more curse than blessing. Really, the last thing on my... So a good starter library would be getting the racial tech 2 component BPOs, things for like the photonic microprocessors and crystalline carbonide armor plates, and I don't remember. There's capacitors. There's 10 for each race. And there's something like 5 million a piece or something. So if you buy a kit of 5 of each of the higher margin ones, you could make a decent living by going off into the woods and doing that. Like, there is no shame in doing that. That is the number one thing. That's the number one piece of my BPO library, is that component library, because I have 20 of each, at least, and then 10 of each of the capital ones, because having the parallel bandwidth for those can be an extreme boon to a production cycle, and it's a reasonably efficient use of cash, both in an investment strategy and as a production purse. The margins tend to be reasonably good. It also opens the door for moon goose speculation, is that since you're not working in the speculating in the mineral markets, the T1 mineral markets, is extremely hard, and those markets move in weird ways, and like you have no control over it. Like you're just sort of at the whims of the weather, and I try to make it better, but I can only go so far. Whereas the Moongoom market, like if you were going to go up the T2 route, like so this is the way I built my original empire. Your mileage may vary because this was all pre-Krios. Was that I came up through weapon upgrades and PvP modules in the Tech 2 sphere, and only once I understood how to use decryptors correctly and had a big chunk of change did I get into ship production. And the stepping stones up that ladder meant that I had other things to do. Is that like, oh, well, what if we did Tech 2 ammo? What if we did these items? Like, oh, well, maybe I should go look at, if we're making a bunch of money on, like, for the longest time I was making money on the neutron blaster cannons, the large Tech 2 neutron blaster cannons. And that was my bread and butter for like a year, because it was the crux of the goon meta, and there was just no way to produce a whole ton of them. So if you're just starting and you're just looking at Tech 1 things, ammo is cheap. Ammo is cheap to produce. It's hard to lose. Like if you're really risk averse, you can start there. That's where everybody starts. Like you can be like everybody. If you want to be a little bit weird, I really like Tech 2 components, and it gives you a lot of opportunities to branch up or down or move laterally through the systems, because you're going to be interacting with systems that are slightly different than the normal thing, and it gives you opportunities to look at Moongoom mining. It gives you opportunities to look at speculation on a more sustainable scale than T1 minerals are. It gives you opportunities to get into Tech 2 production. It lets you look at least what the Tech 2 production chain looks like, so that you can try to get into things. And reactions, it can make money, but don't start there. Unless you can get your hands on a money moon. And that's an R32 or an R64. I don't think it's really worth your time. You can make money on it. You can make a reasonably good living on it. But you have to really be on top of your game on what you're doing to not want to kill yourself doing it. And it's a lot of risk. It's a lot of hardware. And right now the Tech 2 consumption market isn't high enough to really make moon reaction farming really lucrative, unless you can piggyback off of the SOV fuel bonus. Like that's the only way it makes a lot of sense. I would rather do the production side or play arbitrage and speculation in the Moongoom markets than run a reaction tower. If you're a super masochist, drug production is a thing, and I can send you, like, you PM me, I can send you everything I have about it. That is a really fun piece of the industry market, but oh my god, it is not easy. It is not low effort. It is high effort. It's extremely high reward. It is one of the neatest. It's one of the coolest mechanics in all of EVE that goes completely squandered and unloved. Is drug production and drug distribution. So if you ever wanted to, like, really get into role playing, and if you really wanted to get into some of the real niches of EVE, like, drug production is like the coolest thing, but it's super high effort. Sorry, booster production. My computer's all dusty. It's gross. And again, feel free to come join the Discord. We can keep having the conversation. I might pass out and answer your questions tomorrow, but like I'm trying to get everybody in there that we can, and like that's where we're going to be posting graphs, is between there and Twitter. So yeah, it's the way the things go. You can you can make money in the T3 gas polymer reactions, but I would only do them if you're already living in wormhole space. Like if you're already if it's just part of your chain to get people paid, then I'd do it. I think it's a reasonable alternative to using the PI materials in wormhole space. But the cautionary, the caution to the wind here is that in the short term, the T3 demand markets have been extremely weak and getting weaker. They're not high on the meta list at the moment, and the material those materials have been extremely volatile recently, and so now is not a good time to start. But that's not the reaction's fault. It's more of a gross meta thing. So that'll eventually change. I just don't know when, or if it's just a drought now, or what the fuck's going on. So because I'm not really tuned in on a lot of the wormhole meta at the moment. So the last question is, going full grade on PI, what could you expect to make? So I'd have to run the numbers again. I don't remember what the cash out was, but it's probably $1 billion a month. It was, I want to say it was a startup cost. It was an operating cost of $1 to $1.5 billion per character. And that was all with, 6 planets running high-end PI, doing P2 to P4 enrichment, and assuming no costs, and that you were rejiggering your thing about every 3 to 4 weeks. So I think it's $1 billion. It's like $1.5 billion in per character as a production purse. And I think the people I saw doing it were in the billion-ish to $1.5 billion a month profit margin. But it's been a year since I ran those numbers again. So I really like the high end of PI. I think it's a good place for veteran players to work, and it can be especially lucrative in a larger corp to soak up PI from below you with reasonably competitive buy orders and skip the jump freighter, essentially. So I like it a lot, and I like the high end production. It gets a little heavy in the freight department, so doing it in wormhole space, I'd have to double check what the actual freight load was. The high grade enrichment is really excellent if you have a low sec planet with no taxes, but it might be a little constrained in the freight load if you're doing it in wormhole space. So and getting there is sort of the problem of it. But if you can figure out the freight step, then I think it's a good thing to do. It's a little clicky. I would prefer to do industry clicks rather than PI clicks, just because the set, it doesn't have a very high set it and forget it threshold. Thanks to I think it's hard to get enough capacity on planet to really make it run for a week without your attention. I think you only get like 2 days, but again, your mileage may vary, and I think it's definitely worth looking into. It's definitely a moneymaker. But I would look into getting your locals and your newbies, your guys who just need cash today but don't really give a shit about industry, being like, no, make construction blocks for me, or make livestock for me. I'll pay you like G to buy order prices, and I'll pay you right now, so you don't have to wait for the jump freighter to go there and back. You save me, I save you a jump freighter trip, you save me a jump freighter trip. The margin, you get paid a reasonably fair price. I get extra margin, and I'm not paying to the jump freighter. Everybody wins. I don't think you have to screw your teammates to make that work, which is the pain I have with a lot of corp level money making schemes. Is it's like somebody's the bigger idiot kind of thing, and I don't like screwing my team, essentially. I would hope that people would want their entire team to be good rather than just make money off of them, but it's Eve, we like to scam people. So I'm gonna have to wrap this show up. It's getting late here. I'm running out of steam, and I owe somebody the raw recordings so that maybe we can have edits again. No promises. We're still working on a workflow, so whatever. Thank you everybody who tuned in. Thanks for the great questions. Thanks for listening to me rant about Python. We'll be back next week. Be sure to come join our Discord again. That's the big thing. Support us on Patreon, of course. Your dollars go extremely far here. I owe coders content. I've been slacking off because I've been in this whole case of nobody wants to help me. I'm so alone. Oh, it's so hard being me. And now I have like 5 people being like, yeah, how can I help? And I'm like, oh shit, I should have a task list. So yeah, we'll be back next week. Thank you everybody for tuning in. I'm going to press the buttons now.